there for that long of a time. And we're going to start out this year with a bang because we have two homes. And joining me now is the owner of this house.
I don't even know what to do. I mean, you're breaking every rule here, Michael.
You're gonna tell, aren't you?
No, first I want you to tell me why. Why did you want this
I wanted to protect my mother and my brother. It's what you and Dad use to make people go away, isn't it?
And 3,000, that still would have been
pretty.
good
You know what? From what I understand, this home was kind of an upper end model because all of the timbers are redwood and red fir. So the exterior of the house is redwood, which helps with termites and different things like that for this location in Southern California.
I like the siding on the house, the way the wide board and the narrow board, it gives it really a nice look. I understand there used to be a hitching post out here?
There was a hitching post. Not everyone had automobiles back then. And the hitching post was actually that there were some neighborhood children that set the hitching post on fire twice. So it was kind of notorious in the neighborhood for shenanigans going on in our front yard.
So the hitching post is gone. Did you have to sell your horses?
We did. We didn't have any hay in the backyard.
Oh, can we go on in and see
Please,
your house?
yes, thank you.
Let's go. Is this door original?
The front door is original, and this screen door, we found the original screen door in the attic, and we replicated the screen door, so that is new. But the front door is original. This is...
But the etching glass is not original?
It is not original. When we bought the house, the previous owners had put in a stained glass piece that just didn't really work with the era of the home. And so my husband and I decided, instead of putting house numbers on our house and drilling more holes in it, that we'd etch the glass with our house number.
That's a neat idea.
And it gives us a little privacy while letting light in as well.
Now, the floors, are they original?
The floors are original. All of the windows in the home are original as well, as the crown molding, the baseboards, all the real detailed features of this house, as well as the fireplace, are all original. We had to work on the windows to have them double hung again so that they would be in working order.
Are they with the weights?
Yeah, they are. And they're the original weights inside, too.
Oh. And the fireplace is wood burning?
The fireplace is wood burning, and from what I understand, that was the only source of heat when this house was built. Oh. A wall heater was added later, a few decades later.
So you have a combination living room, dining room, basically?
Yes, yes. And the French doors go out to the backyard, and there's a little garage back there, a one-car garage, all with the same siding and double-hung windows.
So which way are we going now?
Let's head out to the kitchen.
Okay.
This house is small, so you can pretty much see everything as we go along. The kitchen is not original. We've tried to keep this kitchen kind of in line with the theme of the home. It was redone in the 60s, so there was faux linoleum flooring to look like wood floors, and dark cabinetry, and Spanish tiles. So we tried to combine modern and kind of timely pieces. The floor is cork flooring, and they have used cork flooring for years and years. And you might have found cork flooring in 1918. It's in the Library of Congress, actually.
Do you know if the appliances came with the house when it was...
I don't know. I know that when we redid the kitchen, you could see where there was the pie.
For the...
Yes, the venting.
Yeah.
And so they put their dry goods in that, and it stays very cool. So there was the hole in the floor for the venting system, and everything that's in it's in its original place.
Now, is this 2 bedrooms?
It's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Very, very tiny. There was one minor addition to the house in the 50s, and it was maybe 10 square feet, and it's back in what we use it now as an office. with some vintage French doors that we found at a surplus yard and then refurbished them.
So the addition is just from the beam?
From the beam on back. That's all they added on,
Why
which is,
would they
isn't that
add
funny?
such a short,
I'm not quite sure.
and those are the vintage French doors?
They sure are. Those were from the 1920s from the Silver Lake area, a little north of
I want to check out something. Oh, instead of the whole door opening, it's just...
It is. It's a wonderful way to get air coming through here without having to open the entire door. That was one of the features that really sold us on these doors. The hardware is original. The door handle is new, but all the hinges and the levers on the lights are original.
You were lucky to find these.
Yeah, we really were. They were a mess. My husband did a great job with those. And
It looked like you've done a lot.
when we bought this home, it had been a rental for quite some time. The previous owners owned it for about 25 years. And when we painted the exterior and started sprucing things up, continually people would knock on the door and say, "When is the for rent sign going up?" We had to turn them away. This is one of the bedrooms with the wainscoting, double-hung
That's
windows.
all original, the wainscoting?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
2 closets in this house, and that's it. There isn't a linen closet or any other closets other than in the bedrooms. So
Hey, it's a kid house. What
it's
do you
a kid.
expect?
You're right. They didn't go for the real expensive version. And then if you head down the hall that way, that goes into the bathroom, the one and only.
Has this been remodeled?
It was, again, when they redid the kitchen in the 50s, this again was linoleum, yellow tile and appliances, just pretty horrific.
That's a high shower.
Well, my husband's really tall. That's a necessity. The clawfoot tub is original. Actually, it was in one of my friends. Her mom used it in the backyard for a flower pot, and we took it and had it refurbished. So that's an original cast iron tub, clawfoot tub, and the windows are double hung. There was a
Oh, you can see the ropes on the...
there was a medicine cabinet behind that mirror, but they had taken all of the hinges and the door off, so we couldn't save that, which was unfortunate. But yeah, we redid. This is all new, made to look.
You know what I
vintage.
like about it? That there are absolutely no cracks anywhere.
Right. Which, if you look at in the house here and there, like in the ceiling, you'll see a few cracks that we've had repaired, and we're going to have to. With an old home, that's one thing that you have to continue.
Tell me about it.
I know you know that, Harvey. This is the last bedroom, and again, not very large, 1 closet. We keep things pretty minimal. All the color palette in the house is all historic home colors as well. Palettes that you would find back in the early 1900s.
It's neat where they have all
The chair railing,
Yeah.
and the big baseboards are really a nice addition as well. It really breaks up the room and gives it a little more character
I
when
have
you don't
those
have much.
too.
Do you really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're a
I
great
notice
addition.
you have wall plugs in yours, though.
Oh, and those apparently, the first week we bought this house, one of those wall plugs went up in flames, and it wasn't being used. So it's been a real interesting journey with this home. It wasn't in very good shape, and we've tried to kind of maintain its integrity, but those were there when we bought it.
My house was built in 1918 also.
Was it?
Can we only have a couple minutes. Can
Oh,
we
sure.
run out in the backyard real quick?
Absolutely.
And I notice that whenever I do something to my house, I have to do 2 or 3 things to make the one thing
It's the
fit in.
proverbial can of worms, don't you think?
Yes,
It is.
it
Come on
just...
out. So the backyard,
Oh, you have a nice big backyard.
well, that was one thing that we really appreciated about this property. And there's the garage, single-car garage. This concrete is the original porch. Everything else when we bought this home was pretty much weeds. So we've done quite a bit back here.
Do you
And
entertain out here a lot?
often. With this, luckily this California beautiful weather allows us to have this great living space outside, and that's really what we've turned. We've had Christmas Eve dinner out here instead of inside. It's been great.
Now, your home was on the Bluff Heights home tour, was it
It
not?
sure was, yeah. We were the little house on the tour. Everything else was big and grand, and I think having a smaller home like this on the tour really shows that anyone can buy a home and refurbish it. And it doesn't have to be a big grand home, and it can be simple, and still you can keep in with the era of when it was built.
That's a comment I got not too long ago from somebody who said, I like your show, but you always show million-dollar mansions. And I don't really, and this is a prime example. I mean, it's not cheap by any standards by today's prices, but it's not...
It's increased in value, but the one thing that holding the heritage of Long Beach and all of the history here is really important, and I think it's important to most people that live here. So if you are lucky enough to find a bungalow that needs to be refurbished, it can be done, with a little sweat equity and integrity, and that's what we've done here, and we sure enjoy living here.
You're probably like me up at Home Depot most every weekend.
They know me by name, especially in the paint department.
Lynn, thank
you,
you for
Harvey.
letting me come and see
Very
your
nice
house.
to see you. Now I want to come see your house next time.
Anytime.
Okay.
Just stop by and
I
I'll be
will.
happy to show it to you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
And don't go away. We'll be right back with more Long Beach Treasures.
Food's great. I can see 11 TVs from where I'm sitting. Great atmosphere, good service. Excellent place to come watch a game.
Lots of good sports, great televisions.
Football, baseball, and HD down at Smooth Sports Grill.
There's actually a nightclub Friday nights and Saturday nights. Fantastic DJ. We love coming to Smooth. Great food. Got televisions everywhere. Nice place.
Well, welcome back to Long Beach Treasures. We're going to go and visit another example of a kit house, and the owner is right here next to me, Diane McNinch. Thank you for letting me come and see your house.
Oh, Harvey, it's always my pleasure. My house loves company.
What year was it built?
1906,
And the square footage?
around 2100.
And how do you know it's a kit house?
You know, it's kind of by word of mouth. There are 3 other houses in Long Beach like this one, and this is the only one that wasn't remodeled, by the way. We use that term in a very bad way when someone changes the floors or lowers the ceilings. And that has led me to believe that it would be a kit house because architectural drawings were not shared at the time this was built.
Do you have any idea what the cost would have been?
About $1,000, and that included plumbing, paint, the original wallpaper that you'll see, the light switches, the hardware, the lumber, the paint. I already said paint, everything.
And so when this was built, basically this was one of the prime areas in Long Beach, right? Because of Wilmore.
That's correct. This is the first residential neighborhood in Long Beach. So this house was actually built on 3 lots. This would have been a very prestigious location. The apartment building next door was built in the 30s, and a third of this lot was sold off to build that. The other third of the lot was probably used to grow vegetables and have chickens and all of that. And in the backyard, you'll actually be able to see some of the first Navy housing before Navy housing was built.
And behind the park over there is the Bembridge House, and a lot of the early mansions were over in that area.
Yes, indeed. This is the largest house on this side of the park, and Dorothy's house is the largest on the other side of the park. So it's a really great place to live, and I know that when these were built, the movers and shakers of our city lived here.
Well, let's go check it out.
All right.
As we go in, I want to comment, what a beautiful front door.
Thank you. It's original. I had the brass work polished, and I've done the best I can to keep this 100-year-old door working. Welcome, Harvey.
Oh, so you have a little entryway here.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
The coffered ceilings are all
yes.
original.
Now, is this the original wallpaper you were talking about?
Yes, it is. And I know it's original because I've scrubbed under it, and there's nothing under there but plaster.
This is over 100 or over 100
Yes.
years old.
Yes, it is. There's a little fading in some of the corners, but I don't mind. I love the fact
Oh, I can't believe
that it
it's
came
that
together.
old.
Isn't it wonderful?
And how did you ever did you have to strip the or the wood or
That's going on in the dining room. That's an ongoing project of taking the white paint
the
off.
coffered ceiling? Was it painted at one time?
The plaster itself was sort of a Hubbard squash color, and it really highlighted the original wood. I just haven't gotten around to getting that color back up on the ceilings.
I like the lights on all four corners.
Isn't that clever?
Are the chandeliers original?
Yes, they are, and actually they're gasoliers. There's a little key here, and there was a mantle, like a Coleman
Right.
mantle lantern. And when these were put in, they weren't sure electricity was going to be reliable and would be around for very long, but they knew gas worked. And there are gas pipes in the ceiling. So if the electricity failed, you could strike a match and still have illumination in your house.
Is the window original?
No, the window is not original. That was put in by Scott Winston, who owned the house in the 70s. He was an architect and paid very close attention to the soul of the house. And I liked what he did, where he took the exact pattern from the wallpaper and had it made into the window. I think he didn't want to look at the apartment building.
And now I'm assuming the built-ins are all original.
Yes, they are. What's unusual about this is that it's the entire length of the dining room. Most built-ins are about 2/3, but this goes the entire length, and it's so massive. When I first moved in, I had a small table, and it just threw the feeling of the room off. So I've been able to have this table,
Now, I was
which is
wondering,
perfect.
do you have a large family? The size of your table.
I like dinner parties. I like to entertain. I've had this table full more than once, and I've got another one out on the back deck where it's perfect for summertime.
This must seat, what, 14, 15 people?
It can do 14. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel very fortunate to have bought this house when it was affordable, and
How long have you lived here?
I've lived here since 1993.
So you're in the process of refinishing in the wood here in the dining room?
Yes.
Stripping the painted part of it?
Absolutely. I didn't like this wallpaper when I moved in because when it's next to the white paint, I don't think it's that pretty. But as I started taking off or having the white paint taken off, this wallpaper becomes incredibly beautiful next to the original wood.
Now where are we going?
Now we're going from the dining room into the kitchen.
Now has the kitchen been a little remodeling going on here?
A little, not much. Again, Scott Winston owned the house. This room, this wall went all the way across. The original sink was right behind me. Where the cup rack was where the door came into the kitchen. And as we go around the hallway, I'll show you the mystery door. Scott was tall, and I'm pleased because look how lovely and tall my counters are.
Oh.
And he did a great job with putting this kitchen in that looks as if it grew with the house. Shortly after I bought the house, a man from a Japanese magazine called The Art of Living with Wood, a magazine solely dedicated to bungalow houses, came. He said this is the only redo kitchen he's ever seen that looked like it grew with the house. So Scott did a great job.
And this is...
This is my library, and it was originally a downstairs bedroom and also used as a sewing room. The fireplace wasn't here originally. Scott had that put in, and he took the archway from the porch and put it here over the fireplace, and also the pass-through from the kitchen to the library. This is really one of my favorite rooms, especially on a rainy day. I can sit on this couch with a pot of tea or a bottle of wine and a straw and a book and spend the whole day just mesmerized looking out into the backyard.
Now where are we going?
Now we're going to the bathroom.
How many baths do you have?
It has two. Now, what I'd like you and your cameraman to do is step in because Scott was about 6'4". This tub is a foot below grade. So he could have a lovely shower. And the wood in this bathroom, I'm told, came from one of the churches in Long Beach. So if you're sitting in here and you feel like making a confession, it's quite natural. And what's lovely is this shower is engineered so well that it truly doesn't even need a curtain.
Oh.
Okay, now we're going to go into the other downstairs bedroom. This is a rented room, and ever since I've had the house, someone has rented this. A lady by the name of Gloria McMillan is the current resident of this room. And the pictures you see, the black and white pictures around the house, are part of a 32-piece exhibit. I took these pictures of women and children in Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. And it's called Women and Children at Work. And they're very dear to me. So anyone that rents this downstairs bedroom is stuck living in an art gallery.
Now, how many bedrooms do you have?
I have 3. And we can go upstairs
All right,
and see
let's
the
do it.
others. These stairs are very narrow and cricky, so be careful.
Now, this almost seems like it's a private little area.
It is. It does seem that way, doesn't it? And I believe this was an attic that was sectioned off and became sleeping quarters later. The first bedroom we're going to go into is my room. And it's really, I love it.
I like the slanted ceiling.
I do too. As a little girl, I always wanted a canopy bed, so this is my tribute to that. And this I got in China, and that was my big extravagance. Now let's go to what's historically important about this room. This room contained beds for Navy wives without children. And at one of the open houses I had, a woman came and said, I remember looking out my bedroom window and seeing my sister hanging her laundry out on the roof next door. So I brought her up here. She looked out the window and she said, this was my room. There were 4 single ladies that would share this room, and the Navy wives with children lived next door. No children lived in this house when it was a boarding house at that time. So it's pretty exciting.
So this was military housing at one time.
Yes, it was. And so that way, you know, the big dining room really came in handy.
Your table would have come in handy.
Yes, I'm sure they had a lovely table. Additionally, she got all excited when she saw the piano. She said that's where the piano was when she lived here.
Oh.
So it's a piano wall, and generally an inside wall is the piano wall because it doesn't change temperatures.
Let's go on because I
All
want
right.
to go out and see the backyard
Well,
real
first
quick.
you have to see the upstairs bathroom
Okay.
because you can actually see part of the backyard.
Oh.
And what a lovely view I have to brush my teeth in the morning. CSI Miami actually used this bathroom as a set to look out into the yard for some clandestine murder
Really?
happening.
Let's go out and check out your backyard because you said you have some new sculptures out there.
Yes, I do.
Let's
Thank you.
go. Well, you must love big tables.
I do, and I love having them filled with people.
Now, what's this little cottage?
This little cottage was originally a garage. If you look across the center line there, you can see where there was a door that would roll across and back. In 1946, the owners converted it to what I call the world's smallest house. It's always rented because people love to have a place without adjoining walls or without someone walking on their head. And it's downstairs is a living room, kitchen, and bathroom, and upstairs is a bedroom and den. They're all about 2 feet square.
You have a big backyard, don't you?
Actually, I share that side of the yard with Carol McCafferty, and she is the one that owns the apartments that you see that were original Navy housing. And that's how this neighborhood received some of the Navy mitigation money, because it was discovered that indeed these two properties were Navy housing before any Navy housing was established.
Boy, it does seem like fall out here with all the leaves.
I love this. It does not look like a California backyard, and most people are so amazed when they come here and they go, well, I could be in Pennsylvania or New York or Maine, and I grew up in those states. So,
I don't know if that's bougainvillea back there, but the color sure.
yeah, it is. Then that probably wouldn't be in Maine, but the trees and
the color is perfect.
Oh, isn't it lovely? Carol McCafferty and her daughter Shannon planted that for me, and it is so beautiful. They're very good neighbors.
And the lonesome cowboy?
Yeah, that's Travis. And we can go down and meet Debbie.
We've only got about less than a minute.
Okay, well, let's go down and have a little walk here. This is Willard. His girlfriend Twyla is out in the back here.
Oh, there's Debbie?
There's Debbie, yes. And we had my daughter's engagement party here in July, and we'll be having her wedding brunch this coming September. So it's rustic. It's not Virginia Country Club manicured, and I like it this way. It's friendly.
It seems like a used backyard.
Yes, it is. It likes people, and people like it. It's magical. Little children come here and they're entranced. They'll sit on this little chair or they'll crawl in the bushes with the cats.
Has your house been recently repainted?
Yes, it was repainted about 2 years ago. The deck was redone. The foundation had to be replaced, and that was a huge, huge undertaking. And as you leave, you can look at the cracks in the front porch as the building has settled from the foundation being replaced. It has various creaks and groans, and we're done, aren't we?
All right,
The
Dawn.
cameraman's saying we're done.
Diane, it's time to go. Thanks for letting me come. It's always a pleasure to see you.
It's always a pleasure to be seen.
And that's our show for this time. And by the way, Happy New Year. And we'll see you again next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.